All of you getting my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
So for today, we see Databricks practical, because yesterday Databricks Community Edition has given some problem. So from beginning onwards, I will be re-login. Just enter into Azure portal. So how to create your instance and how to work with that. Already I have created, but this instance will take time. Just I will show you the process and I will come back to the old instance. So just observe the steps, what you need to follow. Sorry. Resource group. Let's say Bricks Data 2 is my resource group. So all the resources which are related with your application, keep into one resource group so that easily you can manage billings and also budgets, and you can maintain all your resources easily. You can manage resources easily. So for that, here resource groups. Create a resource group now by click on create. Bricks Data 2 I am giving. So keeping into East US. And finally creating that. Okay, here your resource group is available. To this, you need to add Databricks service. Just here, create option. This is to add a resource now. You can do the search. So I'm saying Databricks. Some other additional services are there here for Azure Databricks, but please go through first one, Azure Databricks. Asking you to create this service. Just click on create. Okay, here some additional details you need to give. The first step, you need to give workspace. Workspace is a collaborative work environment where data engineers will be interacting with that, and data scientists will be interacting with that, and even BI people will be interacting with that. So in your project, how many departments are there? All the people are sharing your code snippets from this workspace. I'm giving a workspace name as your workspace, your work, number one. Region, most of recommendations, it's not rule. Most of recommendations are saying that if region is in East US2, quickly the instances will be available. Okay, that's why I'm going for East US2, the region. And pricing tiers here, different pricing tiers are here, like standard, premium, and trial. Go for standard. But if you are using only for practice purpose, go for trial, only 14 days trial, no charges will be applied to you. Okay. But if you go for trial, all services are not available. So you cannot 100% practice with this. So I'm selecting standard. So finally click on review plus create. just a workspace environment. After that, next step would be you have to launch that workspace. So now it is under process. It may take a few seconds or minutes. Deployment is in progress. So resource group we have created Databricks 2, sorry, Bricks Data 2. After that, added Databricks resource. After that, you created a workspace. So here I have given workspace name as your work one. Once this workspace is launched, then you have to create a cluster. So still it is in progress. Please wait for the minute. Okay, meanwhile, I will tell you the steps. Once workspace created, the fourth step, what you need to do is launch. Sir, same work style, not only in Azure Databricks, in AWS Databricks also same procedure. So recently Google also allowed Databricks into the Google pool, Google Cloud. And Databricks has its own cloud, that is databricks.com. For practice purpose, community.cloud.databricks, there also same process you need to follow. Launch workspace. So simply click on launch button. Once it is launched, you have different options. Create a first step, instead of creating notebooks, create a Spark cluster. You are using this one not for the commercial purpose, only for practice purpose, so that you select a single node cluster. Okay, that means only one single mission will be working for your Spark jobs. Okay, here there are multiple options. How many nodes you want auto scaling to be enabled or not? Everything you can select. So what is that auto scaling in the process? I will show you. So still it is, yeah. Luckily, quickly, the work got created, the workspace got created. I am going into that resource. Here you will see launch button. Observe here. These are just only documentations. Here you cannot do anything. Just a documentations. If you click on anything, it will open Microsoft docs.microsoft.com like this. If you want to go through any documentation related services, just go through that. So here I am going to launch the workspace. So when you launch workspace, what will happen is Databricks portal will be opened. Just check it back. May take few minutes time. So this is the same as environment. When you step into original Databricks, how you got environment, same kind of environment you will be getting. So this is the environment. Okay. So if you want to keep any files over here, you want to practice with the data files, just click on this, or you can directly drag and drop the files into over here. Okay, but these are not data lake files. Later, once you got hands on with Databricks, later you can try with how to access data. Databricks can access data lake Gen 1 and Gen 2. These operations we will see later. Look at this. So before loading any files or any something into this one, you need to work with some other areas. So first step is you have to create a new cluster. Okay, that cluster is Spark cluster. Go with only, if it is only practice purpose, go with a single node. So I'm going to create a new cluster now. So here it is asking many details, the cluster name. Suppose the cluster name I am giving your cluster 1. Remember this is not normal Azure cluster. This is on Azure platform Spark cluster. Without any infrastructure maintenance, you are creating that cluster. Basically, Spark is running on top of Scala. Okay, because Spark is basically developed by Scala language. So here, what runtime to execute your Spark cluster? The runtime you need to select. The latest one is 8.3. Within that, Scala 2.12 and Spark version 3.11. From remember this one, sir, Spark 3 onwards, a special feature introduced that is called a Delta Lake. But here you need not to worry about the Delta Lake. Automatically Databricks will maintain that Delta Lake. Yeah, that is a new feature. Okay, so cluster mode, high concurrency, standard, single node. So you are a practitioner, that's why like go for single node. Generally companies go for high concurrency. Okay, so my data writes and read loads are very less, that's why I'm going for standard mode. Okay, because I want to show you how to choose multiple worker nodes. That's why I'm not going with single node. When generally companies are going for high concurrency is more read operations on the data and more write operations on the data. If such kind of things are there, they will choose high concurrency. If you have normal modernized number of jobs, at that time go for standard. But obviously always high, for high concurrency bill is high. Second rank goes to standard. Single node, almost very cheap prices. So for now I am going for standard. So here come to this one, worker type. Worker type, just to select standard. So what capacity for each worker? Worker means slave nodes. So 14 GB RAM is available, 4 core processor. Okay. There are DBU units. That is internally for CPU caching kind of things. The DBU units will be helpful. So simply 14 GB means of course somewhat good, and 4 cores for one mission. Such kind of missions, how many you want? Suppose I am giving 2 here. That means 2 node cluster. Observe here I am disabling one feature called enable auto scaling. I am disabling this. Now what I have? I don't have 2 options, only one option, only worker nodes. If I enable auto scaling, just check it, you will get 2. You can specify the range. Minimum 2, maximum 8. If you want to increase, you can increase. If you want to decrease, you can decrease also. I'm keeping 2 to 6. What is the meaning of 2 to 6? Auto scaling 2 to 6. Suppose here I have selected standard and enable the feature auto scaling. So in the auto scaling, I specified the worker nodes as 2 to 6. So means that initially 2 node cluster will be created. During job executions, if workload is high, it can scale up to extra 4 nodes. Okay. Generally, organizations will be selecting some 250 as a minimum worker nodes, maximum worker nodes up to 1000. Depends on their budget. So finally, you need to pay how many nodes your cluster has used. Based on that, the payment, the billing has to be paid to the Microsoft. Okay, just for instance example, two worker nodes minimum and max 6 I have selected here. And enabled the feature enabled auto scaling. But enabled auto scaling, just at the time of you are practicing, just disable it, and here also select only single node, because your intention is only to practice. You are not going to deal with petabytes or terabytes of data, just only for practice. Just go with only single node. Okay, once all these things are specified, come top, look at top here, you have a create cluster option. Sir, before this Databricks, if I want to create a cluster, means it will take minimum 2 days time. Suppose a 5 node cluster I want to establish, means I need to spend minimum 4 to 5 days time for that. But in cloud, that is happening in the minutes only. Okay, I click on created button. Definitely this will take time. So this is just a process. Already you understand this process. So meanwhile, what I do is, already yesterday night I created one cluster. With that cluster, let's start working for our practice purpose of today's session. So still it is going on, so I am not closing this. Come back to your resource groups. The resource group what I have created is Bricks Data 1. In the Bricks Data 1, I have a workspace. That is my work 1. Here you need to launch that workspace. Then portal will be opened for you. I'm clicking on this launch workspace. Okay, portal is launched. Already I have a cluster. My cluster name is my cluster 1. Straight away I'm going to create. Observe here, there is a workspace. Click on this workspace. Here workspace drop down button is here. So all these are the things, what are the previous things what I have executed. What code snippets are shared here among the workspace with the data science team, with the BI team, like that. And what users are participating into this, that information. We can discuss about this later. Click on this, click the drop down of this workspace. Here you have create, import, export, and all these things. So here in create, first step, I'm going to create a notebook. I'm not going to use any external libraries or something. That's why simply I'm going to create a notebook. The notebook, it is asking me on which cluster. That means in the notebook, if I write some code, the code will be executed at this cluster. So in your example, you have created the cluster name as your cluster. Your cluster. So for my case, I have given the cluster name as my cluster 1. That is already created, that is already selected. Okay. Now I'm giving a notebook 1. Let's say PySpark Note 1. Anything you can give. What is the default language the notebook should have? Of course, within a single notebook only, you can write multiple languages of coding. Even I observed so many jobs of so many Spark, the job means not employment job, sir. Spark running jobs. Some cells of the notebook will be into Python, some cells of the things will be into the Scala. That means within a single node, within a single notebook, you can use multiple languages. You can, at a time, you can use SQL, at a time, you can use Python, at a time, you can use Scala, and also R language. So here, these are the languages Databricks is supporting. To be supported by Java, you need additional plugins. Okay. So here by default, I'm selecting Python. If you are a Scala developer, by default, you select Scala. But even though I selected Python, in a particular cell of a notebook, I can write even Scala code also by doing little modification. Now I'm going to create, after selecting Python, I'm going to create my notebook. My notebook name is PySpark Note 1. Just observe the notebook is launched. So here, observe this symbol on the top, below to the, in the second line. All of you observe my cluster name, MySpark1. The green color is here. Got it. The green color is here. That means the cluster is already started. First time you are doing means to launch, to start up that cluster, to engage nodes to the cluster, it will take a few minutes to startup time, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes like that. But once it got launched, so straight away you can work with this one. But one more things are here. You can set up a breakup downtime. Suppose breakup idle time. Suppose continuously 1 hour, if I don't use anything, automatically my cluster will be stopped. On that way, you can set up the time at the time of creating cluster only. Okay. So here some basic work. Let's look at this data. Here you can configure your data frame tables and everything. But now I'm going to straight away work with local objects for today. A simple list I am taking, sir. A equal to some values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now tell me, is it a local object or Spark object, a Spark RDD object? It's a local object. So by default, every object is a local object. You want to print that one. Just a shift enter. Okay. Because cluster is already connected, already started. That's why immediately you got results. But still A is a local object. I want to convert this into RDD. Let's say my first RDD is RDD1 equals. So RDD is a Spark data object. During computation, data will be distributed into cluster and parallelly that will be computed. Come on, sir. Please come back to the last question, last class. What are the 3 ways that you can create a cluster? Anyone?
So Spark context we can create it.
That means what?
Parallelize.
When you parallelize a local object already created. So the way number 1 we will see as a first part. I'm saying that SC. SC means Spark context. Okay, Spark context dot parallelize. Parallelize of my local object, which is A. This is first way. And also I'm going to do something, RDD2. For the RDD2 input is RDD1. What is the second way to create RDD?
Using transformation.
That means when you perform a transformation or a filter on existed RDD, one more RDD will be created. So I'm going to perform a simple map transformation now. Map. Sir, someone is going to speak. Please speak me. Hello. Ajinkya, any question?
No, sir, no questions.
Yeah. Okay. Sir, look at this, the values of your initial object 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. To each element, I want to apply, so I want to add a value 100. The transformation style in map is like this, lambda x, lambda, and give a variable name. What should happen? This x traverses to the entire list collection. Automatically looping will happen. What you are going to do with that x? For each element, I want to add 100. Now, what is the data type of RDD1? That is RDD. Second one, RDD. Because on existed RDD, you performed some transformation. Got it? Now check the results of both one. Result 1, I am collecting data from RDD1. RDD1 dot collect. Okay. In the next shell, we will give that one. X plus 100. I'm executing this one. Syntax error. Lambda, B missed, it's a spelling mistake at lambda. The word, the character B missed here. Lambda, X colon, X plus 100. Once again running that. Okay, both are ready now. Check the value of RDD2. To check values, if you print that if you print directly straight away RDD2, it will display as a RDD object only, but it won't show you data. Okay, that's why you need to collect the result. Result is equal to RDD2. My processed results are in RDD2. Dot collect. Now check the values of this result. Your expected transformation done or not, you please check it. So initial values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now some little transformation you have done. So the work is here like this. Got it? So now you tell me what are transformations, what are actions? On a RDD, you can perform two operations. On a RDD, you can perform two operations. One is transformation. Second one is action. What is first one? So that means what is this one? This is a transformation. What about collect?
Is action.
Collect is an action. When you apply an action on RDD, entire data flow will be executed. Remember. So you applied action on RDD2. For RDD2, input is RDD1, so that the flow will be started from RDD1 to up to 2. Once that 2 got executed, the results will be collected into driver. Okay, generally if it is your laptop, the results are collected into your local. Okay, so this is the basic work style. Now let's go with some other manipulations of the data. So here, same thing you can test with. You can test with even Scala also, but Scala syntax is a little different. Okay. Don't worry, if you stick on one language, that is enough. Just a minute. So now previously you people have created a cluster, that is your cluster 1. Now cluster is ready for you. You can perform all the operations over here. Just let's start working with the data uploads and in here, look at this. To work with the data files, but this is not exactly the real-time process. In the real-time process, the data will be already available in data lakes, maybe in our storage accounts like a data lake general purpose storage number 1 or data lake general purpose number 2, Gen 1 and Gen 2. But to connect with them, you need to create some additionally some security services like app ID, okay, secret code, and you need to specify your tenant ID like this. So before going to and working with this, to avoid confusion with those things, first let's start working with some existed, some directly local files we will dump into this Databricks, and then we start working with those files. After completion of hands-on with these things, I will show you how to connect with the data lake or some other sources. Just click on a file. Click to browse. You can upload your local files. Suppose one of my local file is here. Let's say I'm taking profiles. Yeah, the profile is copied. So here, please observe here it is giving, I think a profile file is already existed. That's why it is taking a different copy, -1 as a copy to. I'm taking this file copy. I want to read this data from the Spark cluster. Oh, this is your cluster. Unnecessarily, previously notebook I have closed. Okay, no, not a problem. Once again, I am going to launch the notebook. Still, this is for my cluster only. PY Note 1, the notebook name. So previously we have created PySpark Note 1. Directly by clicking on this, you can enter into that. Okay, fresh note I am creating. A fresh notebook is created. My file is here. I want to read this data. So simply the statement sc.text file and give the file path into the double quotes. So this is second way to create among our 3 ways. The first way, when you parallelize local object. Second way, when you read data from a file or a database. The third way, when you perform a transformation on existed RDD. I am assigning some RDD name for this. Let's say the RDD name here, data. Data equals to sc.text file, the profiles.txt. So I'm going to run this. Later we will collect the results. Okay. So execution completed by the Spark. Now I'm going to collect the data. Data.collect. I want to just check printout of this one. Let's say D equals to data.collect. Print D. This is just for whether data is read perfectly or not. I'm executing this. Look at this data. Totally, I have 7 records in this. 101, 102, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Totally 7 records. That means 7 lines are there in the file. Those 7 lines became 7 elements in the list collection. Each line has a element of your list. So this is my first statement, what I have done. The first statement is like this. Data is equal to Already yesterday theoretically I explained. Now we are seeing practical for this. sc.text file of your path you are giving. Remember, this is not data lake path. If you want to give data lake path, some configurations you need to make. After that, remaining work same. So once you become hands-on with this, I will bring you into that topic, how to integrate data lake with this Databricks. The next step, what I need is, for female, what is the total salary? And for male, what is the total salary? This is what the task, what we have explained yesterday class. So in order to generate these two things, I don't want all the fields. I need only gender and salary. But in our file, there are lot fields. Lot fields are not required, only gender and salary, you need to separate it. For that, the second transformation I am doing, let's say data 2. Okay, data 2. Input is from data dot map of. What is the next step, sir? What is the logic you need to give this?
Split.
So first, don't forget lambda. Lambda x colon. This is each element now. Each element is this entire line. Each element is this entire line.
Delimiter is
Yeah.
comma.
Yes, here delimiter, you have a fixed delimiter, x dot split off. The delimiter is comma here. After this, what is the output? You just check it. D is equal to
Print
data 2 dot collect. Just only for checking the output only. For I in D. Okay, first straight away check only D. You will see what is the object type of D now. Just guess. Before that, the object type of D is a list of strings. Now, what is the object type of D? After completion of this, is a list of list.
List of list.
Okay, now check it, please. Check it. Check the output clearly. Is a list of list or not? Okay. Suppose you want to check like step by step, you want to line by line, you want to print, write a for loop. For I in D colon print of I. So each step you can observe clearly. Entire thing in high level, D is a list, each element is a list again. So that is what your data 2. Sir, please go to mute, sir. So in data 2, what you said is data dot map of lambda x colon x dot a split. But delimiter is comma here. Default delimiter for a split function is space, white space. In the next example, we will use that one, sir. This is data 2. So what our next step? I don't want all the fields. I just need to prepare key and value pairs in my third step. Whenever you want to perform a grouping aggregation in RDD core, as per RDD core API, you have to create key value pair RDD. Now we are going to create that. If you want to write a comment, just write a comment over here. Create RDD key value pairs. What is the purpose of key value pairs? To perform
particular position.
Grouping aggregations. Okay, I'm going to create it now. Let's say this RDD name I am giving as a pair. Your previous input is in data 2. Data 2 dot map of lambda x colon. Look at this one, sir. What is the x colon? I need two things. The key value pair should be in the format of a tuple. So first one is key, second one is value. What is key?
-2, -3.
The key is gender. Sorry, the key is gender. Gender means -2. Okay, you can say in the place of key, x of -2 you can give. Okay. Next, salary.
X of -3.
-3 or +2. Okay. -3 or +2 because that is the middle one. I'm saying that x of 2. But on salary, you want to perform some computation like sum of salary or average of salary like this. But here, if you observe this output, the salary 30,000 is in the string format, right? The salary is in string format. That's why you need to convert into integer or float, integer or double. I'm converting this for now into integer. I think one more bracket required. Yeah. Got it? This is pair equal to data2 dot map of lambda x colon, a key and a value. After that, lambda function closed, and after that, entire map function closed. Be careful about brackets, sir. Okay. So this is what your next step. Let me copy this. Okay, 1 minute, including comment, I will copy. This is your third step. After this, what is the result? You just check it now. Let's say D is equal to pair dot collect. I'm executing this now. Just shift enter. Yeah, execution completed. Now print the value of D. What is the data type of D? Just expect.
List of tuples.
Yes, exactly. List of tuples. So just check it now. It should be list of tuples now. Under each tuple, gender as a key, salary as a value. Okay, now you are ready to perform grouping aggregation. To perform the grouping aggregation, suppose I am creating one more RDD. That RDD is the result now. Result is equals to. What is input for this? Pair. Pair dot reduce by key. There is another option, group by key also there, sir. But later in the next transformations, you will get clear understanding about when to apply group by key, when to apply reduce by key. Okay, still it takes time to bring you into the topic. Result is equal to pair dot reduce by key, lambda
X comma Y.
x comma y. Give any two variable names, your wish.
Columns X plus Y.
X plus y. Okay. Now finally collect the results from this one. D is equal to result dot collect. How many rows you are expecting from this? How many rows you are expecting from this? How many elements as a result? Only two. For male one pair, for female one pair. Okay. Just check the values of those things. Print D. Okay. Male total salary 2 lakhs. Female total salary 1,15,000. Okay. Like this. Automatically that is computed. If you want to perform remaining aggregations, okay, still you need some other knowledge. So suppose I want a max, how to apply max within this? Not x plus y. You cannot say x plus y. You have to say some other different notation. I want average. This kind of x plus y will not work out. You cannot say x plus y by n. Okay, the coding style is completely different. Not like other languages. So in PySpark or Scala, the same kind of functional programming style we need to follow. Okay, don't worry, step by step I will bring you. Okay, sir, all of you understand. So what is our last statement? The last statement is result is equal to pair dot reduce by key, lambda x colon sorry, x, two things, x comma y colon x plus y. So straight away, once as a single shot, I will execute all the things just to verify what is happening. Even though everything is available, but in different shells, I want to keep all the things into one shell and I want to execute and finally check it. D is equal to result dot alert. So after that, while writing output format, your data is in tuple format. While writing output format, you need into output file, you need to do some formats for that. You need to set some formats for that. So that writing outputs in coming sessions, we will see. So for now, just how to process our data and how to get the results, please concentrate on that. Print it. As a single shot, I am executing all the things. Observe here, sir. Immediately you got the results. But already some senior guys here, Parshuram and Monica have seen that if the execute the same kind of job in USQL. Parshuram, did you remember? We have generated some aggregation report in USQL, but how much time the USQL has taken? Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is a Databricks is very faster, but problem with the Databricks is costly. Of course, here we are not here to bear that costness. Okay, industry is ready to bear that costness, but still some jobs will be into US. There are some jobs, sir. Actually, what will happen is USQL one job, sir. Databricks one way, sir, to perform your processes. But I observed some companies, some 20 to 30% of work they will be carrying on into USQL, 20% of their work. And remaining 70 to 80% of the work they will be carrying on into this one, Databricks. What might be the reason? Can anyone please tell me why they are using, even Databricks can do all the things. Why still for some jobs they are going for USQL? Mainly one issue, sir, for everyone. Budget. There are some jobs, sir. There are some jobs. Urgency of results are not required. Urgency not required. Okay, throughout the night, the job is running, day after tomorrow or tomorrow morning, I will upload the results into target application. Okay, so here urgency not required. If urgency not required, why I should pay big amount to the Databricks service? No need, right? But there are a lot of critical jobs. Urgency is very high demanded. Within half an hour, the biggest data process has to be done. Immediately results should be uploaded into target system. Multi-terabytes of data within half an hour or 1 hour, the data process has to be completed. Immediately the processed results should be uploaded into target system. Urgency is demanded here. Urgency is demanded. In that case, even though that is costly, industry is going for Databricks. On that way, some old jobs, even though latency happened, not a problem. Such kind of things, they will be keep running into USQL. But for the new users, automatic the feature data lake feature is deprecated, because USQL is available with data lake Gen 1 only, not with Gen 2. Okay, but latest is Gen 2. That's why no USQL facility. Still some old clients are there, legacy clients are there. Maybe 2 years back they came, they migrated into this Azure. There are some jobs, but urgency not required. Still they are continuing with USQL. But for all the jobs, urgency, where urgency is demanded, that means fast is demanded, they are going for Databricks only. Okay, all of you got clarity about this. So just have an idea, USQL is similar to that SQL only. How USQL code will be, just have idea, that is enough. You please concentrate mainly on Databricks. Even I have checked with a lot of ADF developers also, sir. For everything, 90% of their work, the ADF developers are depending upon Databricks team only. So that's why only pure ADF is not at all solution for your engineering. ADF just orchestration tool of your data pipelines. Okay. Yeah. So for today, again, tomorrow we come back to that ADF. For today, my target is to demonstrate you all these things. Okay, sir, this is the structured data, what you have seen. A simple analytics. So now what I need is, yesterday I told you another example, which is word count. By using flat map, we have seen that. Let's create one normal file, sir. Hello all. How are you? Where are you? Why are you here? Okay, this is simple. Each word repeated for how many times I want to count it. I'm saving this file as comment. I want to find out word counts. I think here data export option where it is. Okay. Once again from this. I just want to keep the data into this. Actually, I missed that option, sir. No need to launch again. From here itself, from these options only you can export it. I missed that option. Okay. I'm going to copy the previous created file. The file is this one, which is comment. Okay, comment.txt. Let's copy this file. The file, yeah, already here. The file is copied. Still in same notebook. What is the file path? Sorry. File path you just copy. The file is file store. Under that comment.txt. Now this is the scenario for flat map. Yesterday I explained you when to use map and when to use flat map. That practical example we will see. Is the previous notebook? Yeah. So on the same notebook, I'm giving this path. What is the statement to read it? SC dot
Text
text
file.
file. So initially we are working with the text files, sir. Later we will be working with highly compressed and performance files like Yavro and Parquet files. But it's not right time to bring you to the topic. So I'm keeping the value like a comment. Comments is my initial RDD. After that, I am testing the data. Comments dot collect. Just executing this. Okay, the reading is completed. See, please observe how much it is faster when compared with other services of Azure. That is what the demand of Databricks, sir. Because the greatness of Databricks, one thing, sir. Google has its own processing system. Still, Google has invited a Databricks to include into the Google pool. Again, AWS, they have their own processing system. Still, they are using again Databricks. So that exactly the power of this Databricks. So just check the output. We have 4 lines. Hello all. Every line has one element. Observe. Every line has one element. Now in this case, I am interested about not a particular position word. I am interested about every word. That's it. That's why what I need, single dimension object. That means I need to apply flat map. Got it. Okay. Let's say I'm applying words equal to the second RDD. Words equal to my input is comments. Comments dot. Instead of applying map, I'm
Flat.
applying flat map. Lambda
X
x
colon X dot split.
x dot split.
Delimiter is space.
No, don't give any delimiter. Okay. Automatically space is the delimiter. Because if you apply delimiter, what will happen? What's the problem is if you apply a delimiter like this, because there are some 2 spaces or 3 spaces in some of the words. Okay. At the time, multiple empty spaces you will be getting. Default is white space. To get white space, give like this. Don't give any delimiter. Space is default delimiter here. Okay, check the value of these words now. D is equal to words dot collect. Now I'm going to print the value of D. Just check it now. All of you observe this. The difference between previous and this one. Single dimension or multi-dimension, you got it now. Single dimension. That means list of list automatically converted into single list. Now our next work is key value pair construction. I'm going to take a pair now. Words dot map. Words dot map. Lambda x colon. X is each word. Each word has a key. I want count aggregation. If you want count aggregation, what is the technique you need to follow?
1.
1. The value should be 1. Got it? Now what are the values of this one? Please check it. Pair dot collect. Print D. So now list of tuples you will get. List of tuples. Word has a key, 1 has a value. Word has a key, 1 has a value. For each word, 1 is a value now. This is a list of tuples. Now you can easily perform your grouping aggregation. Always key should be first one, value should be second one. Key should be first one, value should be second one. Okay. Now I'm going to execute this one. I'm going to perform grouping aggregation. Come on, tell me, sir. Final result I want. Let's say result 2. Input is pair. Input is pair. Reduced by key.
Lambda
Lambda
X
Lambda.
comma
Yes, lambda
X comma Y
X,
colon
colon
X plus Y.
x plus y. Okay. So finally, just for only for testing, result 2 dot collect. Print D. Each word repeated for how many times you will be getting. Later we will see how to write these results, how to export these results into other file system. Please check the output, sir. I typed U for 3 times. Here 1 time, how 1 time, all 1 time.
Or 1 time, 3 times.
Okay. Like this. In this way. So this is what the difference between map and flat map. So this entire code, once again, I write at a single place. What we had done previously. This is your file path. Comment equal to sc.text file. How many partitions for this file, sir? By default, if it is local file, 1 partition. If you want to make it as 2 partition, 3 partition, give the partition count over here like this. If there are 2 partitions, if you have 2 nodes or 2 cores, these partitions will be parallelly processed. Okay, for now, let's go with only single partition. Next, I'm going to apply the separate the words. Words is equal to comment dot flat map. Flat map of lambda x colon x dot split. Generally, when you apply a split, a list of list you will get, but flat map is converting into single list. That functionality is called flattening functionality. After that, pair you are constructing. For that input is words dot map lambda x colon. That x has a key, 1 as a value. Next, your aggregation, which is result 2. The pair dot reduce by key. Reduce by key lambda x comma y colon x plus y. But here challenge is how to perform multiple aggregations, how to grouping by multiple keys. All these are the things. All these techniques you will be learning into coming session. Understood? This is the code you have written. With just only 4 lines, your code part is completed. Before Spark, sir, the big data systems were using a special technique called MapReduce, especially in Hadoop. In case of Hadoop, I want to perform this MapReduce, this word count of program means in MapReduce, I need to write some 70 lines of coding. But Spark, what are the 2 advantages? Because of Spark, I'm getting 2 advantages. Number 1, my code is simplified. That means my transformations made easy. And number 2, the second benefit of this one, number 2, very faster, even 100 times faster than MapReduce. Basically, MapReduce is very faster. When compared with MapReduce, the Spark is too much faster. Okay, so that's why for data processing of big volumes, everyone is going for Spark only. But Spark cluster setup is very difficult. Databricks is helping you as an automated cluster. Understood? On that way, Databricks is helping you a lot. Again, Databricks with Azure services to integrate, you have Azure Databricks. Similarly, Databricks to be integrated with AWS, you have AWS Databricks. Like this. All of you understood today. This is not new concept. Already yesterday we have discussed all these things. This is just a practical environment, or a practical demonstration for yesterday work. All of you clear, sir?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, sir. Let's see tomorrow. So I will share this recording by afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.